1. Hi everybody, I'm Mahin, and this is your Tuesday technique for the daily Bellydance Quickies. This is our first DBQ. I'm taping brand new in 2014, and we are in the middle of our fourth anniversary, our fourth Bellyversary donation drive. And so thank you, huge thank you to everyone who has shown support for the DBQ with the donation, or even a really nice thank you letter. I love both of them. The donations do help to cover studio rental, equipment costs, and all kinds of things like that. So without that kind of support, the DBQ just doesn't come. So again, thank you to everybody who has shown their support, and we've got about a week to go in this donation. I hope that you'll participate. So let's get on with what we're doing today. And this one is a request actually from Gail in Missouri. She wrote to me and she was telling me she's really having trouble getting her shimmy started. Just doesn't feel like it's coming along. So we talked a little bit through some emails, and I thought that I would share some of the prompts and things that I use in class to help people get their shimmy going when they just feel like it's just not coming, and for new students who are just getting accustomed to what it's supposed to feel like to shimmy, how to get it started. That can be a very frustrating process for some people. So I'm going to go through a couple of things here. First off is checking posture. So you want to make sure that your feet are not too far apart or too close together. If your feet are too close together, you don't give your legs kind of much room to maneuver. And if it's too wide, then of course it just looks a little bit vulgar and kind of awkward sometimes. So making sure that our posture has our feet placed directly underneath the joint of our hips, so our leg bones are going straight down. Remember, we're not talking about flesh, we're talking about where our bones are aligned. So it's straight down from the joint in the hip, keeping the knees soft and keeping the pelvis in a neutral position. So a little bit of engagement right here just to protect that low back, and ribs up. And the ribs staying up is a really big part of getting your shimmy going, because you don't want these ribs to be kind of weighing down on your hips. We want all the movement to come from right here. But first let's start thinking about where our movement is coming from. Now, of course, there's lots of ways to shimmy. You know, we've got glute shimmies, we've got knee shimmies, we've got shimmies up here. And when you start to actually layer things, you really need to get your shimmy going from multiple muscle groups as you start to kind of move your hips around and do different things. Your body's, the stress on which muscle can best drive your shimmy at any point in the movement is going to change, because it's just more efficient to drive it a little more from the hamstrings, or a little more from the quads, or a little more from up here, or your glutes helping out. So it's a good exercise, I think, for people to just kind of tap into what's moving and what's getting your shimmy going, and thinking about the different muscle groups and where they are. So that's what we're going to do first. So feet parallel, knees soft, pelvis neutral, get those ribs up. So for now, we're just going to have our hands out here and keep our chest up nice and tall. So the first one we're going to concentrate on is I want you to think about your quads. So your quads are 4 muscles, one muscle group made of 4 muscles that are going to run all across the front of your thigh, from your kneecap and up, one of them crossing your hip flexor right here. So as you're in this position here and your knees are soft, I want you to think about your quads pulling your knees backwards. Okay, so pulling them from that bent position towards a more straight position, but not all the way straight, because we don't want to ever go into a locked knee position as we're shimmying. So here you're pulling back, kind of concentrating on those quads here, and the knees are going in an alternating fashion. So I'm going to turn sideways here. This gives us that kind of high modern Egyptian look, kind of a shimmy, right here. So now I want you to think about your hamstrings. So your hamstrings running back here from behind the knees all the way up, attaching back up here. So now I want you to think about your hamstrings pulling your knees back. So here, again, staying out of the locked knee position. So you think about those hamstrings pulling back and back and back. Now your hamstrings and your quadriceps on the front, this is an agonist and an antagonist muscle. So basically these are working as opposing forces. So in truth, when you're doing this and concentrating on the front and concentrating on the back, you're pretty much using the same thing. But I just kind of want you to just put your attention body-wise in different places for that. So anytime you have your joint, one has to pull forward, the other one has to pull the other way to get it go the other way, because that's just the way it works. So, okay, so here we're thinking about these muscles on the front and the back of our leg, like that. So there's one of your ways to drive your shimmy here. Now, another one that I like to think about is your adductors and your abductors. Okay, it's just a difference in one letter there. So your abductors are the ones that take your leg away from your body, and these muscles are out here on the side of your thigh. And then your adductors are in here. And these are arranged kind of like a fan at the top of the thigh and kind of coming down here along the inside of the leg. So one thing that I found that some students, it helps them to think about how they're supposed to move their knees is if, again, checking your posture, feet, knees, pelvis, neutral, ribs up. Now I want you to think about the inside of your thighs. And I want you to imagine that you're kind of going to rub the inside of your thighs together kind of vertically up and down like this. So you feel like that. So that also is going to get our knees to slightly flex and extend and give us the same thing, just like that. And here, we're using a little more muscle that's on the inside of our leg and the outside of our leg, because again, you have to have muscle on both sides of the movement there to get it to go one way and then go back again. So sometimes for some students, that helps a little bit. Now for both of these, you have to remember not to lock up your glutes and all of this, because if you lock all of this up and you tighten up all of your glute muscles as you're trying to get your knees to help drive your shimmy, then really what you're doing is you're putting a whole lot of energy here and then you're stopping it here. So we need to let these muscles around here, we need to let this go a little bit if we want to drive a shimmy with our knees and lift the chest up and out of the way. It would be kind of leapy like if you have revving the gas on your car while you still have the emergency brake on. You're not going to go anywhere. So this is going to really, you'll be fighting all the effort that you're making down here with your knees. So that's counterproductive. So here, and of course, the faster you go, the smaller your movement becomes. That's when your shimmy will really start to smooth out. Again, making sure you take your ribs up and out of the way. So hopefully some of these visualizations, these little clues and cues that you can use to tap into your body will help. One of the things also before I close this off, I know this is getting kind of a long one, isn't it? Is to make sure, to be aware of the fact that if you're just getting used to doing this, that your knees are not used to kind of doing that fast firing for a sustained amount of time. So a lot of times you'll find that your shimmy just kind of like freezes. And it's like, oh, I didn't tell my knees to stop, but they did. So that's just a matter of neural training, and that's just something that you just gotta stop, restart, keep going, and the length of time that you can shimmy smoothly will improve. It will get longer if you practice, and also your muscles will get more accustomed to doing that for a long period of time. You won't get as tired, and your shimmy will get much extended so that you can do nice long shimmy sections in your tuck seams and in your drum solos. So yeah, I think that's it this time. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. So hopefully some of those things work. Tell me in the comments down there if you have other things you'd like to share or if something worked for you. I'd love to hear that. And also some very kind of breaking news is I will be in Florida on the weekend of January 18th, and I'm there for other reasons, but I got cajoled into doing a little teeny 2-hour workshop while I'm there in the Fort Myers area. So there's not a whole lot of information online about it yet, but if you are interested, if you're in the Fort Myers area, and you're an instructor, because this is an instructor's workshop, if you would like to participate, just go ahead and drop me a line at my website, and you can find that through this YouTube channel as well. So have a wonderful week. Happy New Year, everybody. Again, thank you so much for all the support on the DBQ. It is very, very much appreciated. And I will see you next time. Bye.